Hey, Booze. Welcome to episode 29 of the Young Monarchs podcast. Thank you for everybody that is still tuning in. I'm so glad you guys are having a good time listening to the podcast and now watching it on YouTube. Today, I'm joined by Sarai, an all-around creative who also enjoys creating sex and health wellness content. How you doing?
Fine, how are you? Thanks for having me. In a health wellness content creator, I'm not yet certified in the sex area, but I do love studying information about it and talking about it. Outside of that, I am very much into physical health and art. I'm an artist. I create art, graphic design, like art and health, mental, physical, and sexual wellness makes me a happy person, and that's kind of almost me in a nutshell. Yeah.
I love your page. As soon as when I found your page, I started watching your videos, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I gotta have her on the podcast."
That is so dope. That's why I love social media in a way. So I'm like, you just never know who's looking at your stuff. So
Yeah.
I'm so happy that you enjoy listening.
So I guess we can start off by talking about breaking stereotypes that have been placed on. We can talk about Black women specifically or women as a whole. I know one that we highlighted when we were first talking was like the stereotype of like the strong Black woman narrative that is placed on us and how we're all like, this is not it anymore. So trying to like break that down. How do you like, what is your like idea of it, and have you ever seen it as like a positive, and what aspects of that are you trying to break?
So like with the strong Black woman narrative, I feel like it may have pros and cons. Like, us Black women, we are very powerful women. We can do whatever we want, but I mean, like, in a way, I do want us to be normalized and seen as humans. Like, we have pain, like we get hurt. And like we deserve to have time for real, take a break and be like, yo, okay, I need to get my mind together. I shouldn't always have to keep going.
Yeah.
So like I hate that. Even like with the Megan Thee Stallion situation, like on her IG live. Like she wanted to cry, but she's trying to hold it together. And I'm like, I get not wanting to cry, on a public platform.
Yeah.
And I'm like, she deserves to feel how the way she want to feel. And I'm like the way people joking about it.
I actually got in an argument with this boy on my Facebook about the same situation. It was kind of like a jumbled post that I had shared, but saying how we're like talking about like Kanye West and Megan Thee Stallion, how people are like, hope Kanye gets better, hope everything's okay. And for Megan, there's like joking memes and like funny comments made. And this guy made a comment. At first he was talking about I protect Black women and I care about Black women and I uplift Black women. And then in the same comment, he said, everybody gets roasted, so I have no sympathy for her. And it just is what it is. So we go back and forth for like literally all day. I was arguing with this boy on Facebook. And I was just like, are you going to protect us, or are we fair game for the jokes? Like you have to, there's no middle ground on assault for women.
Like that, I don't know, it's just ugly. And like people, okay, why would you joke about something like that? Like, okay, she didn't die, but she could have died.
Right.
Like she got shot 2 times. Like, I mean,
in a car, like such close range, like you could have easily died or easily like genuinely hurt something bad.
Exactly. So like, why is that funny? Why is that a joke? That's what I don't get. Like, I don't understand. Like, why is that kind of like a big deal? Like joking, laughing at Black women's pain. That is something that I don't get. I don't think it's funny at all, and it really agitates me. I don't like it.
Yeah, and I feel like it definitely goes back to like the strong Black woman narrative of, I'm reading Amanda Seal's book of Small Doses.
Mm-hmm.
And she talks about that whole strong woman narrative, like we are strong, and even kind of where like the phrase Black girl magic comes from. Right. It's just like society not understanding how a Black woman could work a 9-to-5 and have her own business that generates a lot of revenue and take care of her family and take care of herself, they're like, you got to be doing voodoo because you can't, like, you're not supposed to be able to do these things all at once.
Right.
And I feel like it's a beautiful phrase, but it still goes back to either not understanding why we're so smart and why we're so powerful, or it's saying like it's definitely can't be them. It's got to be magic. It's got to be something in the tea.
Right. Okay, so we're not good enough to just do that shit because we like, we have the determination to get it done.
Right.
Granted, yes, God helps, but like, we know we got to get shit done.
Yes, because nobody else is gonna do it for us. So it's like, got to do
we
this.
operate. So I'm like, yes, magic, but like we're still humans. Like we can do this. Like we can cry about some shit and still go get it done.
Yeah.
Operate. So I'm like, it's not always like, strong and magic, just like we know we gotta do it. So I'm like, let me ask you something. Do you feel those terms can be a bad thing? So we like do away with those maybe? Like Black Girl Magic, all that stuff.
I don't know. Like, I understand like the deeper meaning behind it is kind of based on something negative, but I definitely see how we in general have taken it into our positive. Like when you see Essence and they have like their different award shows or something, they're talking like Black Girl Magic, Black Girls Rock type of events, using that to lift women up who may not be able to see themselves in those spaces yet. Because I feel like for Black women, we're still in the space where we definitely are starting to see more successful Black women, but not enough for some women to feel like that can be me too. So I feel like that's kind of like the hard work we're putting in now to make sure like that our daughters and our nieces and people to come definitely see Black women on a higher pedestal.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we definitely have to be able to talk to each other and kind of like see things in each other when it's like, girl, you need to take a break. Or like, why have you been working for a whole year with no vacations? Like, I don't want to see you for a week.
Right.
I feel like because we, like you said, we need to get things done. Even if we like will bitch and cry about it, we're still going to get it done when it needs to be done. But putting that same energy into like doing something for ourselves or just not doing anything at all is kind of where we're like, no, I can do a little more things before I take a break. And then that just keeps going.
That is me.
Yeah.
So I get it. But like, yeah, so like I see like I said, I see the pros and cons of it. But like I don't know, I feel like us Black women, we know what those terms mean for us. Then like other people may like spend like, men may not get like we get, we have a, strong Black woman, Black Girl Magic. Mm-hmm. That don't mean we don't want no breaks, I'm like,
yeah.
like, with a man and other people that may be like, okay, well, I mean, you're a strong Black woman. I'm like, okay, well, damn, I feel pain too. I want a break, just like you. Like,
I'm gonna be a strong Black woman on the beach, relaxing.
I want to live like, Black girl luxury. I want to live good. Like, I don't always want to be, stressed out, under pressure and all that stuff. So yeah, I don't know. I want us to kind of get that together and like, normalize that Black people can have breaks too. We can still do our shit. We still, step back when we need to.
Oh yeah, and I think a lot of it comes with just self-awareness of knowing like when your body's tired, when your mind is tired, like when you, like you said, being an artist, like when you can't create things or when you can't come up with nothing, it's not like a failure on you. It's you need to relax so your brain can have like a minute to get the juices flowing again.
Yo, like that is something I struggle with. Like literally, I will like create when I have no passion or feeling behind it to get it done.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, is that really good for me that I'm doing this? But I mean, I'm not even gonna lie, I keep doing it anyway. So I'm like, you ain't putting your 10,000 hours, you ain't done yet.
Yeah.
But then sometimes I'll be like, okay, yo, like I'm exhausted, I need a break. But I would keep going anyway. I don't know. So I'm talking to myself as well. I gotta take a break some days. I'm like, sometimes I just can't do it.
I'm planning right now to take a couple of days off in a week or two. I've been like working from home this whole time since March. Skipped a vacation I was supposed to go on, And
Wow.
now I'm like, I'm just gonna have to take some days because your girl is tired.
Yes, you need to.
So let's talk about all like the double standards that there are on women and especially Black women, and kind of how we're trying to deprogram our own minds and society at the same time. I guess we can talk about first, like just the history of the over sexualization of Black women,
Mm-hmm.
and in general, just how women are seen in society, like the roles that we're instantly placed into or thought of because of our appearance and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
So like, I was like studying, which is like kind of crazy. Like, did you know like during slavery, it was kind of illegal for a Black woman to deny sexual advances from like, the owners and all that stuff?
Oh, I ain't know that.
So I'm like, so it's kind of always just been going on. It's kind of like twisted as hell. So
Yeah.
I'm thinking like, because this kind of like about Black women now, well, some like, very like, keep your legs closed, cover your body up, because, we didn't have a choice during those times. Like,
Yeah.
we control our bodies. So like, I understand, why our grandmas, moms, and aunties, may feel like that.
Yeah.
But, it's like, it's a new day. But I mean,
Yeah.
I get like why they may feel that way, but it's still something I would hope that we can like kind of look past. I mean, also like I do know like the media also doesn't help. Like they will overly sexualize a Black woman in a minute, or give us
Yeah.
either overly sexualized or like I guess the hood snapping the fingers and all this stuff. So it's like either or almost.
Like the sassy girl narrative.
Yes, like that's why I was so happy, like seeing shows like Scandal and then Insecure. So I'm like, yes, we are not just always this sassy attitude, like
Yeah.
woman that you guys are typecast upon us.
Oh yeah, I think we see it across like a lot of different platforms. I saw something today on a show that I love to watch, Riverdale. They were talking about the Black actors in Riverdale, which for a high school show, there's like two that are
Really?
constant on, and they were just talking about how like the roles they get is like the sassy mean girl, or they get like the sidekick role who
Mm-hmm.
stemmed from like negative upbringings, and then they're also paid the least, shown the least, the worst narrative in the story. They don't Riverdale has seasons and seasons, and they don't really show you like the African American characters like story. They don't really tell them where they came from and stuff like that. They just pop up and they're one of the main person's best friend or girlfriend or something like that.
Man.
So it's like, and then you see, I mean, hip hop culture in general, even though like various music uses women as like that beautiful symbol because that's what we are naturally, but
Mm-hmm.
at the same time it's generally taken somewhat to the extreme when you think about like 90s rap videos and what the women look like there compared to what they look like now. They're a little more covered and different things like that. But you made a interesting point when you talked about um, just kind of like our parents and grandparents wanting us to be very covered and closed off. I know that for a fact, like especially being raised in the South
Mm-hmm.
and being a curvier girl, I
Yeah.
never understood why I wasn't told. I was told to like love my body, like I'm perfect the way I am, but I wasn't told that it was okay for me to like enjoy being in my body because I had to cover it up so much.
Right. Same.
So I always was like, is there something wrong with having a big chest? Is there something wrong with having a little bit of a butt or something? But now I'm to the age where everything about me, I was born this way. So if people want me to embrace things that God gave me, like my talents, my voice, my intellect, why can't I also embrace the temple that he decided to give me if I feel like it's popping like that?
Yeah. And like, I was telling a friend of mine like maybe like some weeks ago, and I would say like at times I feel that I penalize myself for the way that I'm built. Like
Yeah.
I would like wear a hoodie like I have on now, or I would like kind of oversized t-shirt
We
kind of
see.
yeah, to like to hide my body, because I know like when I go, if I wear like something that's like guess more fitting, I'm gonna get looked at. Or I'm
Yeah.
gonna get judged, and like all of a sudden, because of an outfit I have on, I can be like be seen as a hoe or being easy, all because of how I'm built.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Something
like,
that you can't control and that you didn't pay for. So it's like, this is what are you looking at me for?
and I'm like, I'm celibate, but but you don't know that, but because I may wear a tight fitting dress, you're gonna assume, oh well, she doing this, she doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And like it's just crazy, and I get it because like I don't know, like teenage Black girls, we got treated differently than like other races. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know if you ever noticed, like you can see like a white girl wearing like booty shorts and all that stuff about her family members and all this stuff, but with a Black girl, you better cover up your uncle coming over, so and so and so and so.
I went to a predominantly white high school and I saw the little shorts that was this big with the
Yes,
legs this long. And
right,
my shorts always like, when you put your arms down, my shorts always came to like my arms. And I was just like, no, this is not fair. Like
right,
it shouldn't matter what the butt looks like in the shorts. It should be the length of the shorts.
exactly.
And I feel like you made a good point because it's like we want to feel comfortable in our skin. And I know for me, being able to embrace the way my body looks is a part of me fully being comfortable in my own skin. Like I shouldn't have to feel like, oh, I'm about to do a video, so let me put on a hoodie or something like that. I should be
Right,
able to like, I'm gonna put on my V-neck that I like to wear. And
exactly.
even when you talk about being in the mall, when I go to the mall by myself, that is a thought that I have. Like, there's gonna be a whole bunch of little boys walking around Lennox. I will wear some regular leggings with something around my waist and a
Exactly.
shirt. Because
Exactly.
it's like you don't want anybody bothering you
Exactly.
just for shopping at the mall and wanting to be cute.
So like, yeah, it's crazy. Like, it is hot.
Yes, it's
It is hot.
summertime.
And I be out here wearing like these like long sleeve shirts and all this stuff because
Mhm.
I don't want to draw attention to myself. And I'm like, man, like it's not fair. And I'm like, that's why I hate how society has, in a way, over sexualized Black women to a point where we mentally also punish ourselves because we don't want to draw attention. So like
Right.
it's an ugly thing. I mean, like I know why we do it, but it's something that I would like for us to, bypass and like overlook.
Yeah, I agree with you there. And it also is not, I don't feel like it's fully on us as well. I feel like men in general need to
Yes.
have more respect for a
Mm-hmm.
woman. Like just because she wants to wear booty shorts in 95-degree weather doesn't mean that you can talk to me when I'm in the mall. Like I
Exactly.
didn't come here with you. You could just mosey on, like keep it on going. And or even going like I've been at gas stations before and
Mm-hmm.
like, well, I'm trying to pump gas with my mean mug on, and you're still gonna try to talk to me,
Exactly. Or
like face and
smile.
all.
Oh, smile. Put a smile on your face. Like, who the hell are you? I don't have to smile.
Like, don't talk to me.
So like you have to make it seem like yo, you're angrier than normal, so they want to approach you. And then sometimes that still might even work though. So I'm like I get it, like I agree. Like again, like why are we trying to hold ourselves accountable for somebody else may do? Like men know better. They should know, okay, well, just because he had his on does not mean I had a right to her body.
Right. And
Like
I feel like it's on both sides. Like there just need to be more respect, and then like us being able to just feel like freer. And I feel like
mhm.
us saying freer in this aspect is also like feeling safer
Yeah,
to
right.
where you're not bothered. And I feel like that's a lot of the reason why I'm conscious about Like I'll wear my whatever I want to wear when I'm with my boyfriend, and when I'm by myself, I'm gonna just wear something a little different.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's a weird thing that we just shouldn't really have to even deal with at all.
I agree, and I'm like, that sucks. Like, I hate that we have to just think about that. I don't know. I mean, it's gonna take a lot of, unconditioning, because this has been ingrained in us for centuries, for a long time. So it's gonna take a lot. I feel like this generation, in a way, is kind of, going against the odds, but we still have some work to do.
Oh yeah, and I think like just what you said, we're in a good spot to where we're conscious of the things that we want to change, and we have enough like just know-how and will to be like, this is enough. Like we're not doing this anymore. And I think like it starts with like each of us just being more comfortable to kind of like take those stands in those different instances.
Yes.
So we're in the part of the episode where we do the Get Your Head in the Game segment, which is pretty much like a story of a time where you had to get your head in the game, or you had to boss up to make a situation better for yourself or somebody close to you. Do you have a story kind of like in the same space of what we've been talking about that you would want to share for this one?
I do. I'm trying to think which one would I like tell without putting somebody on blast. Okay, well, I don't keep putting my business out there like that.
You can always change names.
I know, right? Let's see. Well, I can kind of say, like, for me, like, setting my boundaries more.
Mm-hmm.
Like, bossing up on that, because, for a long time, like, I'm nice. And because I'm nice, people try to take advantage of that. And, like, she nice, she naive, she easy. Let me try this. Like, I've, a story I can say, it's like, there was a guy, he literally thought, because of my social media, I talk about sex and wellness, that automatically meant that, okay, well, I can try to get at her. I can try to, have sex with her. And, he started, with general combo, trying to be cool and ask me about what I was all about, and information about, what my goals are. Mm-hmm. And then he started trying to get sexual. And, started, sending me pictures out the blue, and I didn't ask for it.
Oh, no.
Yeah. And I'm like, what are you doing? And, I kept on, like, telling him, I'm like, yo, this is not cool. I didn't ask for this. I didn't consent to this. I don't want this. So, like, can you please stop it? And in his mind, I guess he thought, no meant yes. And then he was like, well, you talk about sex and you be wearing, these outfits, so.
That does not mean anything. That's the platform I'm standing on to make you stop.
Exactly. But, to him and a lot of people, oh, well, because you talk about sex, you shouldn't have boundaries. You don't know what you're talking about. So and so and so and so. Yeah, people have told me that before. And so, I could like basically, put him in his place, and I blocked him. So I'm like, I gotta set my boundaries, like, protect my peace. Like, I don't owe you anything. I don't owe you me because I talk about sex, or because I may wear an outfit that you may think is sexual. That is for me, for myself only. It's not for you.
Right.
And that is what, there's so many people who understand. I'm like, this ain't for you. Like, no.
Right. And I think that goes back to just people always thinking that if you talk about sexuality, and how you feel about those two subjects, you're automatically saying like, I'm here for whatever.
Exactly.
And that's not the case at all, because like this is like sexuality and sex is a part of every human being's life at one point or another. So why is it so taboo to have like silence around something that we all experience? And if we could talk about it more, maybe people would be making healthier decisions, and there wouldn't be so many people having negative experiences that they never expected.
That part. Like, that goes back to what we were saying, like how I was saying in Black community, like how sex is so taboo that, so many things just kept on getting put on the rug, ignored, because a lot of us feel we can't talk about it. Or if you talk about it, you're condemned, or you're a hoe, you're going, you're fast. What are you doing? Staying in child's play. So I'm like, and that it starts from like, you know, in our childhood. So we grow up like, you know, being grown ups, kind of like thinking the same way, being conditioned because we were told stay in child's place, you know, stop being fast. And then
Yeah.
also kind of like, you know, for women, I would say like we kind of get it a little bit harder than boys when it comes to sex. When we're like teenagers and all that stuff, a boy may get a condom, but a girl get told stop being fast, and so and so, so and so.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, it's natural. Like, you know, children are going to, you know, well, teenagers are going to have sex. Instead of telling them, you know, stay in child's place or, you know, mind your business, if you just like talk to them about it, let them know what can happen. I
Right.
feel like, you know, things be in a much better, you know, headspace.
Oh yeah, I just feel like it does start when you're a teenager and when your body starts having hormones, the way you start liking people and stuff
Mm-hmm.
like that. And I feel like that's like the perfect time for a parent to be like, okay, let me open you up. Let me put you on a little more game than you know
Exactly.
at an earlier time than what our parents may think like, oh, she's ready for this talk or that talk.
Right.
Because I know for me, I didn't have sex at all until I was in college, but
Mm-hmm.
all through high school, it was, you don't have sex until you're married. You don't have sex until you're married.
Right.
Like, don't worry about it. You don't need birth control. You don't need condoms because you're not having sex until you're married. And from my friends and the people I went to high school with, and I went to parties and things like that. So I was able to, on one side, it was like, you're not having sex until you're married. And on the other side, the people I was surrounded by, I was able to see a little bit more than what I was being told. So I'd
Mm-hmm.
always be asking my friends, like, oh, so what is it like? And what are you doing? And this
Right.
and that. Because for me, I'm just curious, not because I want to do it myself, but if my friend is like, it ain't all that,
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, that's all I needed. And I'm gonna keep minding my business over here because I trust my friend's opinion. But what if my friends was like, girl, you got to do this, blah, blah, blah. You don't know what you're missing out. And I have those two sides. Like, what am I going to choose when the people who I look up to the most and I feel like are protecting me are also not talking to me about the
Exactly.
things that I'm wondering?
Yes, I agree with that. Cause like, you know, yes, there's nothing wrong with telling someone to wait to marriage, but also be realistic. Like some people are not gonna do that, and like in this day and age, and even like during the back of times, like teen sex happens, and like you were saying, like you know, me, I was homeschooled, but I mean, I did have friends who were also engaging in sex, and they would tell me about it.
Mm-hmm.
Because you know, I knew people who got you know teen pregnancy. So
Yeah.
that made me not want to have sex as a teenager because of the stuff I saw. So
Yeah.
like, you know, I was like, well, you know, I can chill in the way, like, you know, like you said, college and all that stuff. So I'm like, it was just ugly. And a lot of these kids, you know, they didn't get to talk. You know, they saw other people doing it, you know, I guess maybe TV, but people they knew who was also engaging in sex. Some were also being groomed by older men. So therefore, you know, they thought, okay, well, this is let me do this and this is okay.
Yeah.
And if they had someone who maybe had talked to them and told them, okay, this is what's gonna happen, this and that, you know, STDs, teen, you know, pregnancy, you know, get tested, birth control. Like, you just
My
think,
dad did show me a lot of pictures of STDs and things, and I was just like, oh, no, I don't want to do this with you anymore.
man, like me, I had to Google myself and like, you know, and I was like, oh my God, this is so disgusting. So I was like, yep, I'm good. Like,
Yeah. I don't know what made it. I guess anytime I talked about a boy or going hang out with a boy, he's like, let me show you some more pictures. Like, come on. And I was like, I got the last one in my head. I don't need no more pictures. Like, I'm good. But
yeah,
let's talk about just like sexual health and pretty much enjoying safe sex and being able to like have open conversations with your friends or potential partners.
yeah, okay. So like me, when it comes to like, you know, safe sex, I tell people like, you know, if you like someone, there's nothing wrong if you like, you know, casual sex, you know, different partners. I would say, get tested every 3 to 6 months, and get all the testing, and also like men, get your own testing.
Oh
Stop
yeah.
depending on your woman. Like for her test results, like STDs will like lay in your like dormant in your system, and sometimes won't even show up for years. So I'm like, they may not have nothing. That don't mean you may not have anything.
Right.
I'm like, get your own testing. And I would say, if you like, exclusive, I would say every year, just still. Because
Yeah.
I don't know, just me, I'm like really, I don't know, I always try to stay clean on top of, my health and all this stuff. So I'm going to say, like, even if y'all together committed, get tested every year. And also, like, I made a video about, sexual hygiene. And,
Yeah.
like, I didn't realize, I got inbox. Some people didn't even, like, kind of, like, know those simple things. And I'm like, I mean, I'm not judging, but I'm just like,
yeah,
again,
somebody, we got to talk about these things.
I'm like, if someone was, like, giving them this talk and, like, letting them know instead of them just out here doing stuff and not knowing, just think, like, people can, like, get yeast infections and all this stuff, and because they're not getting this talk, they don't know.
What about like the mental part that comes with let's talk about like the mental that comes with having sex, and even like maybe it's not like, I'm trying to think of the best word. It's not like being fearful of having the conversations about things that are going on in your mind. Like if you have a partner who doesn't want to use a condom and you do, or just in general, how like sex is different for different people.
Right. Man, like that is so like needed. And that is why, like you said, conversations, open conversations. I would like for people, I mean, I don't control shit, I can't do. But I would like, if you're messing with someone that you feel you can't be open about with your health, you shouldn't be fucking with them. Yeah. I mean, I know it's easier said than done, but like if you're out here messing with someone and you can't say, hey, well, I think we should go get tested, or, I want to wear a condom, or, someone's like trying to make you do something you don't want to do sexually, then you shouldn't be fucking with them. But that is easier said than done. But I'm like, I guess, if you want to like try to combat that, if you're dealing with someone, just kind of bring up a casual conversation thing. If you don't want like, openly say it like bluntly, guess like go on Twitter, social media, like send them the stuff like, hey, I saw this on Instagram, like what do you think of this? And see how they think about that.
Oh yeah. Cause I feel like that's a perfect, like you like made the point of like, why are you having sex with somebody that you can't have the same like sex conversations with?
Right.
Cause I would say like, even before you have sex with somebody, no matter if you're like it's casual relationship, whatever, like have a conversation of like, how's this gonna work for you?
Right.
Like you can even, I know people say like, don't ask what we're doing, but like, no, what is this? What is this? What are we doing?
Like, not to cut you off, but that's why like so many like shit, like things be happening. Like, y'all need to know, like, are we on the same page? Are we just smashing to be smashing? Are we gonna get together? Like, what are we doing? Like, I don't know. In a way, I would say I'm not too much of a go with the flow kind of person. No, what the fuck we doing?
Yeah, what is this? What is us together?
I don't know, like, everyone is different, but me, I would like to know, like, and if I'm like, if I want to be with someone, am I wasting my time dealing with you? That's the case. I'm gonna move on and chill until I meet someone else. But that's also like another thing that I noticed, like, with sex, like from stories that I've been told, people that I do know, some people don't try to use sex as a way to get with somebody. And I'm like, men and women, we think differently. Like literally, a guy can have sex with you and mostly not be there like how you are. And while you over here getting these feels, thinking y'all doing intimacy, connection, no, not to be blunt, he's out here just getting a nut and you're done. He's done with you. While you're like, no, what were you gonna say?
Oh, and I was going to say, I was reading something the other day, and it made a point to highlight like women can be the same way. So
Yeah.
for men who feel like, oh, if she has sex with this person, she's in love with them, like there are women who do not get that intimate connection from having sex. Like we got to break that narrative
You're
too.
also right with that as well. Yeah. I agree with that. Like that's also some like what I was talking about, like different, like how there's also like some women who try to use sex as well
Yeah.
with someone. I mean, there's also some women who I fucking think are dope and love. You know, we just say, okay, I got what I needed. I'm done.
I'm out of here.
That does not make her a hoe. It does not make her easy. She's a woman who knows what she wants, and
Just like a woman who knows that they want a relationship,
exactly.
when you don't.
We're not just one type of woman. Like, you know, like how I guess they try to group us, like saying, like that's
Yeah.
like some people try, okay, well, either, you know, we like marriage or not. Like, no, we can, you know, sleep with you and not want to be with you. Or we can, you know, date you and then want to be with you. Like, we're
Yeah.
not just one type. So that's also
Right.
a stigma that we should break.
For sure. And then even for like talking to women who do already on that mental part, knowing what you want and knowing the type of woman that you are. If you're like a very intimate, like you want somebody all to yourself,
Mm-hmm.
if you know that's who you are and you want to be with somebody that has made it obvious that that's not who they are, like have that conversation with yourself to save you the pain and save
Yeah.
you the suffering if you just know like I can't do it with you that way.
Cause like man, that is like fucking tough. Like, you know, you're giving yourself to someone who doesn't view you all like the same way. Like that is like that hurts. So
Yeah.
yeah, I agree. Like, you know, just have that talk. I don't know why, but I guess depending, like, you know, that talk can be tough. But it can save you a whole lot of heartache, you know, from the get
Yeah.
go. If y'all just talk about, you know, the game plan. What is his
Yeah.
game plan?
Yeah. And just being like, what is the game plan? And just being able to be more open in general. I feel like everything we talked about already makes people more comfortable with talking about sex, but just the importance of open communication, no matter who the person is and no matter what like sexual activity you're doing, like it doesn't matter what it is, like communicate if you don't like something or they don't like something, be able to voice like there's like the stigma on sex of like men are supposed to enjoy this and women are not supposed to, and if they do they're a whore, they're a
Yeah,
slut, but at the same time I'm not doing nothing that I don't enjoy,
exactly.
so we're gonna talk and we're
Yeah.
gonna get this right.
Yes, I agree. That is something that I've always been so big on. I'm gonna keep on saying, like, yo, if that's something you do not like sexually, speak up and let them know.
Yeah.
Like, they gonna like you know if they don't like what you're doing and how it feels, so do the same thing. Like let them people know it's not always easy, I guess, if you don't want to hurt somebody's feelings. But honey, they gonna hurt your feelings by be honest with you, let you know how
Right.
you feel. So do the same damn thing. Like, you know, y'all supposed to be enjoying this. Like,
Right.
don't be out here just like, you know, just accepting things and not like speaking on how you feel.
Right, because it's not just for somebody else. Like there are a lot of reasons, and also think about the reason of why you're about to do whatever you're about to do. It goes
Agree.
back to what you said of like doing something because you think you're going to get a relationship or whatever it is. Like do what you want to do and not what somebody else wants you to do. Okay, so now we're in the part of the episode where we do the Get Your Life segment. And that's pretty much one thing that's going well in our journey and one thing that we're still working on in the space of, I guess we can do it in the space of like sex and sexual health, or even like sexuality, self-expression, um, like the narratives or deprogramming that we're trying to work on, anything tied to this episode.
So like one thing that is going well and then one thing that can be worked on.
Yeah. So I can go first.
Okay.
I I think one thing that is going well in my journey is a lot of what we said earlier, deprogramming, just understanding that I am a woman, just like God made me filled with all of my personalities or what I'm capable of doing. He also made me look this way. And it's a part of me, and I should be able to enjoy the way that I look and be able to express myself with how I look, with anything that comes out of my mouth or like any ideas or work that I do without worrying about what anybody else thinks of me. And then one thing I'm so struggling on is I think like having these conversations about things that are so like taboo. Like I definitely think we need to talk to younger kids more about sex, but then even women in general talking, us being comfortable enough to share our experiences to just broaden knowledge of ways to help each other and ways to think of things differently.
Yes, I agree with those. I like that. For me, I guess I can talk about some I can work on. I would say, although I have, I am learning to live in my own skin and being okay with like talking about sex openly. Something I guess the attention that it may bring at times. I feel like in a way because I talk about sex openly, like I said earlier, guys tend to think that I'm just always about sex, or I would have sex with them automatically just because I talk about sex on a public platform. So I'm like, okay, well, like, bitch, I have feelings too. So,
Right.
I'm like, I'm like, I'm not always in a sexual headspace. Like me and you, like we talk about several different things. Like we talk about sex, but also more than just that. So I'm like, when you come to me, know that I'm not always just in that mindset of sex. And then I guess also like some of the stigma that may come with, like again, like depending on the woman, they may like try, I guess, like typecast me again. It's like as a whole, I'm easy or whatever. Like there's some days I don't even give a fuck, but it was still like some days it may get to me, and that's something that I am working on. I would say something good. It's me, like learning to be open and being okay with my sexuality. That was not always easy for me.
Yeah.
Like, I would say, like, back in the day, like, I was that person who only thought, sex was for, procreation and for a man's enjoyment. So, like, I would just, accept it and deal with it. And, I used to be scared to speak up because I didn't want to be seen as a hoe. Or, okay, how some guys like, okay, well, how you know how I do this? Why you know this? All this stuff because, okay, well, maybe, I'm easier or I'm a hoe. So I wouldn't say things at times. So I'm happy that I've gotten to a place like, while I'm okay with like talking about sex with people, talking about what I like, what I don't like, taking care of my, mental health and sexual, health and all that stuff without, being scared and being worried about it.
Because there's people that make a life around it. Like one of my favorite YouTubers, Shan Boudreaux, like seeing her when I was in college, kind of like still being on BET and doing like sex documentaries, commercials. I thought it was like so dope that it was a woman having these conversations. And it was also a woman that was open enough to talk about everything, to where honestly, she was one of the people that I learned a lot about sex from. And from watching her content, it made me feel more comfortable to express myself and to ask more questions and to just be like, this is normal. Like, why can't we talk about it? Because I watch it for hours, them talking about it.
Exactly.
But there needs to be like, you have an amazing platform that's growing where you talk about the health part and the enjoying part, like the tips, the video of you did, like tips after sex to take care of yourself and things like that are just important because obviously nobody's talking about this.
Right.
But to have like a label automatically placed on you because you talk about something that women shouldn't be talking about is like, why can I not talk about it, but I can have sex with you?
Exactly.
Like, what are we doing?
Right, man. Like, yeah. And that's the thing, like, for me with my platform, like, I want people to have great sex, but also take care of your health. Like,
Yeah.
mentally and physically. Like, a lot of times, like, women, dependent and men, like, we have to be in that mental space. So, like, I mean, sometimes, we can cope with things, but I want us also to have a healthier mindset as well as,
Yeah.
like, enjoy sex with that as well. And also, like, normalize, talk about getting tested. Like,
Yeah.
that is like a thing that people be scared to talk about. Like, I know people who just won't go get tested at all, but it's out here having sex.
Yeah, I say treat it like a physical. You go to a physical once a year. My doctor gives me free tests. So it's like, why not just stay 5 extra minutes for free and make sure like it's not gonna hurt. I mean, depending on what your results is,
Yeah,
but it's better than going years down the line, especially for a woman to have like a STD or STI that she does not know about and how it can affect her wanting to have children,
yes,
like physical alterations and things. It's like, take care of yourself before you please somebody else.
exactly. I'm so with that. And that's how I feel. And also, like, even like, just say if you did happen to get an STD, like, you can still live life and and have
Right.
sex. And that's a thing that I guess a lot of people don't talk about. That's people who are with who are married that has AIDS, HIV, herpes, and like it's an unfortunate thing that can happen.
Yeah.
But if you're smart about it, like it can't, like it won't stop you. But I would say also be honest, with people,
Yeah.
because people have the right to know. But like a lot of people also like tend to feel that if they know their results, they may not be happy, so they kind of ignore it and not go get tested. But that's not good. Like you're affecting your health.
Right. Doesn't help you. And like, you really don't know what somebody else would do.
Exactly.
Like if it's something like if somebody loves you, was in a relationship with you, married to you, and something happens, if you're able to know to be able to take care of yourself, you're
Mm-hmm.
obviously showing them that you care enough about them to take care of them as well.
Exactly. So I mean, like people will like overlook that. You just never know. Like that's why, like what we were saying earlier, talk,
Yeah.
communicate. Like you literally do not know what someone may be okay with. Like,
Right.
be honest.
Definitely. So I wanted to give you a chance to tell people like where they can find you, what you're working on, what type of content you put out. I'll have like all your links linked in the YouTube video and on the Young Monarchs Instagram. But
Okay.
for the podcast episode, you can give you a little shout out.
Shout out. I haven't done this in a long time. Oh my god. Um, shout out to my family. It's funny. My mom and dad don't even know I make sex content. When they
They
find out,
will when you make a lot of money for it.
what the hell? Like, my siblings know, which I do love them. They know they support me. So, shout out to my mom, my dad, my siblings. Unapologetic, Unapologetic is a company that I also work with. It's a creative production company. And,
Yeah.
they also kind of helped me get to this point to be okay talking about sex. They gave me opportunity. Like, I have a show on the app. So,
Nice.
they helped me become okay with, talking about sex openly. And I would say right now, I can't even think right now. I know I'm doing my art, but I'm constantly, making, content about sex and health wellness. And you can find it on my Instagram, my content creator Instagram. It's Sarai, HeyItZSarai. And if you want to see my art, it is I am Sarai. It's two I's, AMSARAI. And if you want to like follow me on Twitter and see me being ratchet and ignorant as hell and like joke with me, this is Sarai. So,
Cool.
but yeah, that's pretty much like all my social medias.
Nice. And I'll have all that on the Young Monarchs Instagram. But I was super excited about this episode.
Hey, like, thank you so much for having me. I'm gonna keep on saying, like, I'm so happy you found me, wants me to be featured on here. Like, I love this shit. Like, I'm just excited.
Oh yeah, this is fun. But make sure you guys definitely follow Sarai. I'll have everything linked on the Young Monarchs Instagram at _Young Monarchs, and even on my personal at Miss Tierra XO. But thank y'all for listening to this episode, and we hope you guys have a great week.
Yes, have a great week, guys. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.